Hello everybody and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael. Now in today's video we are looking at the first creation by Viva underscore Cinepico, I think I said that right, on the PlayStation. This is on the PlayStation Workshop, or the Frontier Workshop for PlayStation. And so this person contacted me through YouTube and said they wanted me to do a tour of their park. So of course I'm really excited to do this. And as I said, this is this creator's first creation in the game. And already I can tell this looks a lot better than my first creation did. I think for everybody, or I would say most people who've played this game can say there's a really big learning curve, or it kind of takes time as you kind of learn as you go with certain things. But one thing I already noticed with this is you took a lot more kind of risks than I did in my first park, because you're very unique with how you did some terrain work and stuff for the kind of the outer edge of the park. But this park is called Gardens Park, and so the description on it just basically repeats the name of the park. But as you can see, let me go to a more neutral time. So now as we can see here, we've got a couple coasters in the park. Looks like we've got 3, maybe 4, but we got a lot of flat rides, we got a lot of trees, we got a lot of water, and so the park is kind of bordered by this terrain. And so I think I think you did a pretty good job with it. Me personally, it's a little different than what I would have done necessarily, but I think it's this is, like you said, this is your first park. You're kind of learning. Looks like you got coasters that go in and out of the terrain, which is really cool. So I'm excited to look at this and see what you did well, and kind of give some suggestions or hints. And right away, I love how you've got the coloring looks really good on that ride. So first of all, I gotta find where the entrance is, and which park are we on? Let me figure this out. All right, so we're on the Deciduous, so it's got to be over here somewhere. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, cool. So you actually kind of hid where the entrance is. That part's really cool. So you actually come through a lot of this terrain work that you did. Oh, no. There we are. Alright. So let me get back into this easier camera mode. Yeah, so it took me a little bit to find where the entrance was, but this is really kind of a cool way to enter, though. You kind of come through this little cave, almost like it's a bat cave type thing. This is cool. I like this so far, and you really can't see anything either. So then you come here. I like the water work there. Called Gardens Park. So I think already you did a good job on the entrance here. You got terrain paint on the side, you've got water, you've got some water effects, and on the right side you can kind of see part of the park already. So I kind of like that idea of how there's not a connection or a way to get to there, but yet you can kind of see the park. And so here's the entrance. I'd love to know, did you create this? Is it off the workshop? That kind of thing. It looks like it's probably something that you created, so good job. Now I feel like this is one I could get lost in, just because there's so much terrain work. It's kind of hard to see where you're at. But let's go straight. Now one thing I will notice here is with a lot of the stalls, they're not dressed up. I guess that's the correct way to say it. So that would be kind of your next step, I would think, would be kind of working on whether it's station building or making kind of different buildings for your stalls. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Believe me, my first couple parks, I didn't make anything on my own with that. I just kind of, yeah. So, and this looks like a ride, and this is going to, okay, this is going to be for this coaster. Oh, it looks like a launch coaster. Now that I think this is a good example of sometimes when you're maybe elevating, you're looking at it from that bird's eye view, it looks kind of a little bit different, right? Like, okay, I don't know if I like this or not, but then when you're actually down on the, guest viewpoint, which is honestly how parks should be looked at, right? It looks awesome. Like, this looks really good with all this terrain work and stuff and rock work. It just looks like it's kind of been dug out of this hole, which is, I'm sure, part of the vibe you're going for. Yeah, and so kind of like with the food places, you know, the next step for growth is station building and stuff like that. Um, you know, it takes time. Don't. This is not anything that. Oh, hold on. Oh, I was actually sped up. Oops. So let's go here. Does everything look like it was kind of jumpy a little bit? All right, so let's look at this coaster as we look at the stats. Max speed 70 miles per hour, biggest drop 138. So that vertical G's is really high. And we'll look at that after the ride and see where we could work on that. Alright, so what do you guys think of that ride? I really enjoyed it, especially for this being your first park. I think you did a good job with the design. There are definitely some areas that need to be smoothed out, like some of those kind of quick turns. But overall, I think it's good. You know, it's a lot better than my first coasters that I made. So let's look at the vertical G's and see where is it higher at. Because I think I have an idea of where it's higher at. But I just want to make sure. So 2.5. So the vertical G's, it said, were in the 7s, which is weird. Normally you'll see one that's close to that 7, maybe not exact, but this one doesn't have anything close to that. So very strange. Yeah, there are a couple areas, I guess, where it could have been flattened out a little bit more. But that doesn't look bad. So how do they get those high vertical G's? All right. So let's come back over here. Now let's go back into get rid of the HUD. Yeah, so let's continue going this way. And like I said, I really enjoyed how it went in and out of the rocks. And looks like this is going. I don't know where this is going. Oops. There we go. Oh, that's the chairlift. Alright, so we'll make sure to check that out at the end if we have time, because I don't want to keep this video too terribly long. So now, yeah, like I said before, when you're down on guest view level, this really does look cool. You know, one thing I would do is maybe vary up the trees a little bit. I think you use this tree style because you want his stuff to be kind of hidden. And also, I probably would put the entertainers in an area that's a little different than just the well, I guess never mind. You don't really necessarily put them in an area; they just kind of walk around. So that was not a great comment on my part. But yeah, I love the use of the rides you've chosen to. You've got a variety, and so as we see here. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty park. You've done a really good job with this. You know, I like the fencing you chose right there. Man, I just don't like the curbs they use in this game. To me, I just think they're so ugly. Love the hammer swing. I think that's just such a really cool ride. And now, let's go check out this ride up here that only has like 8 in the world. Only 1 in the US. Which was broken down on the day I went to Magic Springs. I think it's called an X2 coaster or something like that. Yeah, once again, you know, I talked about this already. Your next step is working on station building and building buildings for food shops and so forth. Let's put this on test mode so that we can get a... Oops. So we can ride this ride. So as you can see, almost everything's in green. That looks good. The results, max speed 63 miles per hour. Biggest drop. I mean, the only thing there is we got hit with a branch, but that's easily correctable. Alright. So there's the ride. You know, not much to it, but I think, you know, when I went to Magic Springs, which was not a good park, but I was hoping to get to go on this ride, but it was constantly kind of shut down. But it's such a unique kind of look to the beginning of it, and yeah, I mean, that's really cool. So let me open that park back up, and so if we kind of get an aerial view of where we've looked at so far, this is near the, gosh, I don't even know where I'm at here. Okay, so we've covered a lot of the park already. You know, I would just say with these trees right here, I would just vary the tree style up. I understand why, or my guess on why you're going for these type of trees. I would just do something just a little bit different with that. But it is cool though how stuff's covered up and you can't really see too much from the path. Oh, actually we've covered a lot of this already because we walked down here and over there. So we really, in terms of having to cover coasters and rides, just have to do, let's see, where does this one go to? Oh, sorry guys. Oh, no, I'm doing a terrible job at this. Now I don't even know which one I was on. Yeah, that totally, I did not get to where I was trying to go. I think it went to one of these. Yeah, when you're down on the guest level, it looks nice. Really does. Good job. Good job with a lot of the terrain paint too. So let's kind of keep walking around this and see if we can get to that last coaster. I've never ridden one of those in real life, and I'll be honest, I don't have much of a desire to, but you know, you guys can let me know if you've ridden one of those and how it is. Alright, so as we can kind of see, and this is where you can kind of see all the trees covering up the path. I mean, it definitely looks good when you're down on the path like this. You know, I'll just try to maybe vary up some of the tree styles. Let's see, is this going to be, this should be the third and final coaster in the park. And you did a good job with foliage too, and trying to kind of cover up the paths and stuff. So I do like how you're kind of going in this mountain. Alright, so now this one actually, you wouldn't necessarily have to build a station since it's technically in this cave or mountain, but I mean you could if you wanted to make it look supported and stuff. So this is a canyon runner, so basically mine train. And there's nobody on the ride, so let's go ahead and put it in test mode. This one you gotta ride in track view. Either ride in the very back or ride in track view. Alright, so what'd you guys think about that ride? To me, I think that's my favorite of the, well, okay, let me phrase it this way. I think the first one's probably my favorite of the coasters, just in terms of, I think the best overall coaster. I think this one was definitely the smoothest of the three. Now that second one, you know, there's not really too much to that to try to get it not being smooth, but I think overall, I think it was a good job, and especially between the second and third lift hill, that was awesome. All the turns were smooth, they were banked. Really, really good job there. And, you know, so I think this is a very good first park. As I said, when you look at it from above, my first thought was, I don't know if that's my style in terms of how you did the borders, but then when you're down on that level, it really looks nice. It looks good, you know, so I think now it's about every time, like I look at it as every time I do a new park to try to improve on in some of my areas that I did last time, right? And to try to do something different. And so now, you know, with this collab series I'm working on, is trying to step out of my comfort zone and build smaller coasters and do different things that maybe I don't do as much, you know. So now next time I would say work on this stuff, okay? Work on your stations and stuff like that. And also when you look at stuff, just move any trees that might need to be moved. Like here you see a tree going through the bathroom and so forth. But I think it's a really good park. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Make sure to go check it out on the workshop and rate and subscribe to it. And as always, if you enjoy this video, hit the like button. If you enjoy the content that we make with M&J Games and you want to stay up to date on when we release content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And just the continued support that we keep getting from the YouTube community and the Planko community is just second to none, and we really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.